Can Photoshop pull through with the Firefly model and create a wizard about to cast a spell? No. It creates what looks to be beggar asking me for a spell instead of casting a spell. 1.75 out of 5. No, but you nailed it. Okay, good job. It's October 2024, and we can generate any image we want at the stroke of our fingertips. As long as we can describe it, we can create it using artificial intelligence and generative models that make images for us. This is a fantastic time to be alive. I know a lot of people and how they feel about these generative models, but the fact of the matter is that these things are here to stay. You can throw a rock anywhere you want on the internet and it'll land on some type of generative AI model. So what I want to do today is compare 4 of the generative AI models that I have a lot of experience with, of which I think are probably the most popular in this field. The first one being Midjourney 6.1, which uses some type of diffusion model. Magnific.ai, which many people don't know. This is pretty new for Magnific. They used to be just an upscaler. We'll talk about that later, but now they can actually create images with prompts. And ChatGPT, which uses DALL-E as its base, and Adobe Photoshop 2025's Firefly for the generation model. When we look at these, ChatGPT, we generally are going to be using more for administrative tasks like writing and helping us analyze data, but it can also make images, so it is one that we need to look at. Now, I will be judging these images on this criteria, and you are free to judge along with me out of 5. So each category will get a 1 through 5 marking. We're going to look at the creativity of the image that was created. We're going to look at the quality of the result that was created from the prompt used, the accuracy to the prompt, and the usability of the asset in my workflow or documentation, and then the final verdict, whether it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down. All of these images will use the exact same prompt, and we will judge them based on the criteria that you see here. There is one rule, and the only rule, and that rule is this. I had to use the very first image that was rendered from the prompt that I entered. Say that 15 times fast. And that's the only rule. The only rule that I had was as soon as I typed that prompt, whatever image was the first one to come up, that's what I had to select. The only exception is Midjourney, because you technically don't get an image from Midjourney until you pick from one of the 4 versions. So I picked the best version that worked for Midjourney. All the others, I went with the first image that was created. The first prompt, this is a landscape image, a castle in the mountains at sunset with a moat around it and a waterfall pouring into the moat. Epic light at sunrise. Oh my gosh, this is Magnific.ai. I was blown away the first time I typed a prompt into Magnific with the results that I received. So the accuracy of this prompt, I'm going to give it a 5. It's got a moat. It's got a castle. It's got mountains. It's got what looks to be like a sunrise. As far as the quality of this, I could very well use this in one of my images, and the quality is pretty fantastic. The creativity, I think it looks pretty darn good. I'd be excited about this. And the usability, I'll give it a 4 because I could definitely use this. So this gets about a 4.5 out of 5. Midjourney with the same prompt. That is some dramatic looking imagery right there. I would give that a 5 for accuracy. We have the castle, we have the mountains, we have the sunrise, we have the moat, we have the waterfall. Everything that I asked, it created. On that, the quality, I'd give it a 4. It's not the best quality when we zoom in on things, but if I was using this for, just a thumbnail or some type of graphic, it could be usable. Not the best, but it's okay. The creativity, I think it did a pretty darn good job. I like the composition it made there, and the usability. If it was a little bit more detailed, I could definitely get down with this one, but we'll give this one a 4 out of 5. ChatGPT, accuracy of the prompt, it's pretty accurate. I mean, we have the mountains, we have the castle, we have the moat, I guess, but it looks more like it's on a river than has a moat around it. So I don't know. We'll give it a 4 on that one. Creativity, they did a pretty darn good job making this pretty creative. And for the usability, it depends on what I'd be using this for. But because the quality is so low that gets rendered from ChatGPT, I would have to do quite a bit of work to use this one. So I'm giving the usability a 2. That would be a 3.5 out of 5. Not too bad for a really quick rendering out of ChatGPT, which is primarily used, again, if we think about it, for administrative tasks and maybe some image brainstorming. Let's see how Photoshop 2025 handled this exact same prompt. Oh, Firefly, you've got a way to go. Well, on the accuracy of the prompt, there is no castle here. There is no moat. Uh, there is one mountain. I guess it could be sunrise, but maybe sunset. I don't know. Who knows? The quality is not quite there. It's very low scale, not very usable in my workflow. And the creativity, it's about a 3. The only reason why I gave it a 3 is because it put a mountain in there. It looks like from Iceland instead of giving me a castle. So I'm going to give this a 1.75 out of 5. You nailed it, Adobe. Good job. All right, now the next one, a portrait. The prompt was a couple's engagement photo, looking into each other's eyes, smiling, photorealistic, happy, muted color palette. Exact same prompt used for all 4 images. All right, so, as far as the prompt is concerned, I give it a 5. And the reason why I give it a 5 is I know that the lady's kind of missing an eye in there, but we'll get into the quality on that one in a second here. But I give it a 5 because it's 2 people that look genuinely happy. I know it's an engagement shoot because the left hand is rested on the gentleman's chest and she has a ring on her finger that looks pretty close to the earring that's in his ear, but that's okay. I'm giving this a 5 for accuracy because it has all the elements that I need, and I could use this in my workflow if I needed to. Give it a 5 there. The only thing that I find not so good about this is the eye. I just can't see what her eye looks like. It's not the best. But 4.5 out of 5, good job, Magnific. You're killing it. Midjourney, how'd you do? Well, I gave them a 4. I gave Midjourney a 4 because they aren't looking into each other's eyes per se, and I don't know if it's necessarily an engagement shoot because I can't see the ring finger. However, the quality here is very good, and it would be usable if I needed this in something quick for my whatever it is that I might be working on. This could work. I would have to do some work to it, but it's usable. 4.25 out of 5. ChatGPT, where are you at? I give it a 4 in accuracy because they are looking at each other. That's about the only thing. It could be an engagement shoot because the left hand is on the chest, typically how we would see an engagement shoot, but there is no ring. So maybe they just got engaged and he couldn't afford one, and therefore they're just happy that they're about to get married and they'll get a ring later. I give it a 2 for the quality though, because I just can't do much with this in anything in my workflow. And creativity wise, I mean, I like the muted color palette that it gave it, but that's really why it scored so high in creativity. 2.75 out of 5, and you nailed it. Good job, ChatGPT. I was actually pretty surprised that Photoshop did better than ChatGPT on this one, but not by much. We've got a 4 for accuracy. We definitely see this couple staring at each other. What would have given it a 5, they definitely look happy too. If I saw a ring on a finger, we would have had a 5, at least for the accuracy to the prompt. Now the quality, it's pretty horrible, man. His t-shirt is somewhere underneath that necklace, but it's not connected to the other side. At least they rolled up the sleeve a little bit. And I give him a 4 for creativity because it's not our traditional couple that we're used to seeing. I like the exquisite jewelry that they're wearing. However, I can't use this in my workflow. So you beat ChatGPT, but not by much. The next one, a still life. So we're looking at a still life of a camera on a desk surrounded by various camera tools. I want this to be photorealistic, have a vintage feel with warm light and a chiaroscuro appeal, which would be, kind of like your Da Vinci style with, deep, dark, rich darks. So Magnific, wonderful job here. I could definitely use this. Now, I don't know what a Kawana or Kavana camera is, but I could very easily carve that out in Photoshop, get rid of that, and this would kind of be difficult to tell that even an artificial intelligence model made it by first glance. I definitely give it a 5 for quality because most anything that's coming out of Magnific these days is magnificent. It is wonderful. And a 4 for creativity and 5 for usability because I definitely could use this. 4.75 out of 5. Very well done, Magnific. Let's see how Midjourney does. Midjourney with your accuracy, not really. I mean, I wanted various tools and camera objects to be around it. It put things around it, but I can't tell if they're batteries, if they're rolled up pieces of paper, possibly cigarette butt filters. I have no idea. I don't even know what these tools are that are around it, so I can't really give it a good score for accuracy because it also doesn't have the warm light I'm looking for or that chiaroscuro kind of feel. and it isn't very photorealistic. So sorry. Let's see here. What do you got, ChatGPT? I was pleasantly surprised that ChatGPT did a pretty decent job on this. I give it a 4 for the accuracy because it did target all of the things that I wanted to target, and those things could be objects that I could see going onto that camera. So that is well done. However, the quality of it just isn't quite there. I'm not sure if I could use this in my workflow at all. And Photoshop's Firefly model. Yep, failed once again. I'll give it a 3 for accuracy because it did mark some of the things, like the look that I was going for. But as far as the quality, the creativity, and usability, it's just not there. The fourth test is going to be a humpback whale leaping out of the water with glacier mountains in the background on a blue sky day with white clouds and photorealistic. So Magnific did a magnificent job, as it does. You're seeing that as a staple across the board. Magnific does magnificent all the time. 5, 4, 4, 4, 4.25 out of 5. I could very easily use this. Let's see what Midjourney's got for us with this humpback whale. I'll give it a 5 for its accuracy, but as far as the quality, I want it to be photorealistic, and the clouds in the background look like they're painted. Yes, I could do some things to make it not look so painted, but it doesn't really look photorealistic. It's more of a painting, and all of the renderings that I got in that series of 4 were the same way. But I still think it looks pretty decent and usable, so 4.25 out of 5. And now we got ChatGPT. That's not bad. I mean, I'd give it a 4 for the accuracy, but the quality, again, you can't really use this very well because the quality is so low. It doesn't produce a very large scale image for you. So out of that, I give it 2.75 out of 5. Probably wouldn't use it in my workflow, but it's one of those things that if I needed to have some type of brainstorming session, I could very easily use ChatGPT and use this and find some other elements that would work for me elsewhere. Let's see how Photoshop does. Not too bad, Photoshop. Okay, accuracy will give you a 4. Creativity and quality, usability, not quite there again because Firefly's 1024 resolution that we're stuck with. I probably wouldn't use it for anything, but I mean, it's much better than it usually is. So Photoshop, you did wonderful there. Now let's go to our 5th prompt. With this one, I wanted to do a prompt that would be more for compositing. So if you develop compositing assets, how would it create something that would be on a black background that would be easy to extract? So for this prompt, I used a photorealistic depiction of an old wizard wearing a hood and long cloak, holding a staff with a crystal on top, about to cast a spell, facing the camera on a black background. Dang, Magnific did a wonderful job, and even to the point where I feel like he's about to cast a spell because the staff is on fire up there around this beautiful crystal. Man, the only thing that I would not give this any points for is the fact that it would be hard to even want to put something behind it as far as a composite is concerned because it looks so darn good. But if I need to put a background behind this, this would be a wonderful image to have in the foreground. 5 out of 5 across the board. How did you do, Midjourney? Not too bad. This is good because this is usable. I could very easily use this image a little bit even easier than the image before because with the quality of light that it's given me, I could do a lot more with this in my post-production. But I'm going to give it a 4.25. 4s in the other categories. Well done, Midjourney. How did you do, ChatGPT? Okay. Okay. Well, accuracy, you've got an old wizard, but there's a lot of crystals everywhere. He is about to cast a spell. However, it's not on a pure black background. It would be harder to extract this guy, and I probably wouldn't use it anyway because I'm not a big fan of the look and the positioning of the fingers. It's like, okay, this staff is just levitating because you decided to cast a spell with your fingers. Okay, so that probably wouldn't be very usable. 2.5 out of 5. Sorry, ChatGPT, this one just didn't hit it. Can Photoshop pull through with the Firefly model and create a wizard about to cast a spell? No. It creates what looks to be like a beggar. I mean, I guess it didn't specify on male or female, but it looks like a beggar asking me for a spell instead of casting a spell. 1.75 out of 5. No, but you nailed it. Okay, good job. Now, with this one, I wanted to do renderings of an illustration. So this was a sticker on a black background of a construction hammer striking the top of a metal nail with the words "nailed it" underneath. You guessed it. Where did I get that sticker from? Well, I tried it in Magnific, and I wasn't a huge fan. I'd say that it is pretty good, and a strong contender, but I probably wouldn't use it because I don't know where the hammer begins and the nail ends, and if it's actually hit a nail or if they're stuck together. So 3.25 out of 5. Midjourney, how'd you do? Holy crap, you nailed it. It looks awesome. The only reason why I gave this a 4 instead of a 5 for the accuracy is because there's no nail here. So when I made this sticker for this presentation, I had to make my own nail and I had to do some fixing up. So it couldn't be a 100% 5 across the board, but very well done. Nailed it. Awesome. Let's see how ChatGPT did. Wow, this is actually really good. So ChatGPT did a great job. The only reason why I didn't give this a 5, even though it has all of the criteria, is it's not on a black background. It would be a little bit harder for me to extract this, but I give it almost a 5 because what ChatGPT is great at is helping you brainstorm for these things rather than actually creating the most accurate thing. But for it to create this instead of just a brainstorming session for this sticker, well done, ChatGPT. Let's see how Photoshop did. Firefly, come on. Okay. Okay. 1.75 out of 5, but you guessed it. You nailed it. Good job there, Photoshop with Firefly. Man, oh man. Here they are across the board. This is how they did. All 6 categories tallied up and totaled up. We've got Magnific coming in with the blue ribbon at 4.38 across all 6 categories. Midjourney coming in second place with 4.04. Here's a little aside. I always used Midjourney for my image rendering before Magnific came out with a prompt renderer. And what I would do is I would use Midjourney images and then I would bring them into Magnific and upscale them to get that quality of look that Magnific has. You don't need to now, but I will show you that in a second here and where that comes into play. ChatGPT, nice try. All right, we know what you're good at. You're great at administrative tasks, coming up with written things, but you're better as a brainstormer for making images rather than actually creating decent images. And Photoshop, you just get the Nailed It award at 2.21. Here's the deal. I hope somebody from Adobe is watching this. Now, they've been shoving this generative AI stuff and what they can do down our throat for so long. And the generative AI models inside of Photoshop are absolutely atrocious. I don't use them for anything. I don't even use them to replace specific areas on my image because I don't think it even does a good job at that because it can't match the noise patterns of everything else that is around it. They need to stop forcing this down our throat until they can get the Firefly model up to at least ChatGPT's level. Okay, and that's even saying something. I think for the amount that they're shoving it down our throat, they should be at least at the Midjourney level. I digress. However, you see this image that we took here. I took this image from ChatGPT and I brought it into Magnific to upscale it to see if it could make this crap version of these people look somewhat decent. And look what it came out with. So in my opinion, Magnific really is the winner across the board because it creates phenomenal images from prompts. It is on the expensive side, but if you're into image rendering and image upscaling, Magnific is fantastic because not only can it upscale things, even your own photography, not only can it upscale things and add phenomenal detail to them, it can also create its own images now from prompts. And I think it does the best job out of all of them that I've seen to date. Now, I know I'm going to get some litany of complaints about generative AI models and why I'm even showing this, but here's the deal, folks. These models are here to stay. They're going to be around. They're only going to get better. And it's one of those things where if you're going to keep your friends close, you definitely want to keep your enemies closer. While I don't necessarily generate images and call them my own, I do use these images in my education so that I can help people learn the tools in Photoshop. Use the comment section below to comment on other generators that you use or maybe some strategies that you found for success with your prompts. If you're here to complain about generative AI images, these comments will be deleted. I'm sorry, I'm just sick of hearing them. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this. I do sincerely appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing because I take difficult things in Photoshop and make them seemingly simple so that you can use them in your workflow today.